This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Wednesday, November the 28th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, the National Union of Public Workers is describing as madness the non-payment of customs employees and an increase in their workload brought on by the retrenchment of 10 support staffers from the Accounts Department. Speaking against the backdrop of a possible depletion of current staff by early next year, Assistant General Secretary of the Union, Wayne Waldron, said officers are burnt out and may find it difficult to turn up for duty between now and January if their concerns are not met urgently.
They say 119 persons on customs and a number of things to work in payroll in the account section. They even send home cashiers that collect revenue. So now you put in pressure now on the same customs officer to pick up Sunday slack, but there ain't nobody to do the overtime. So people can't, customs officers can't get paid the overtime or whatever allowances is supposed to get because there's no staff to do the stuff.
Meanwhile, we are hearing that the government's job cuts could disrupt next year's sugar crop. This warning comes from the union representing sugar workers. At the heart of the issue is the decision by the state enterprise running the sugar industry, that's the Barbados Agricultural Management Company Limited, to offer voluntary separation packages to the employees without consultation with the Sugar Industries and Staff Association. At a press briefing held in the cane fields of Constant Plantation Tuesday, CISA President Edwin O'Neill explained that in two letters, one of October the 30th, 2018, and the other on November 8th, 2018, staff at the BAMC were given until November the 15th to submit their names for voluntary separation with a guarantee of payment by November 29th if successful.
This certainly makes a mockery of tripartism. It makes a mockery of everything that the social partnership and labor is supposed to represent and hold dear, and can only be a precursor to ensuring that there is turbulence ahead for what ought not to be, for what ought to be good industrial relations, practices and operations. We have been around this thing too long for this kind of ad hoc, arbitrary, maverick type of behavior to be going on.
In other news now, after spending 3 days in jail for allegedly threatening to shoot two of his sisters, Emerson DaCosta Dean is back home. The 48-year-old of number 17 Magneta Drive, Todd's St. George, had been remanded to prison by Magistrate Graveney Bannister over the weekend after appearing in the District A Magistrate's Court. Dean was charged with using the threatening words, "I'm going to buy a gun and shoot you," to Monica Dean on November the 10th, as well as telling Glendine Dean, "I will shoot you," on the same date. However, through his attorney, Harry Husbands, Dean was yesterday able to secure bail in the High Court in the sum of $5,000 with one surety when he went before Madam Justice Pamela Beckles yesterday in the number 5 Supreme Court. As part of his bail conditions, he was ordered to keep away from the complainants. Dean will appear in the District B Magistrates Court on December 14th after having the matter transferred to that jurisdiction. And 2 men walked out of the District A Magistrates Court as free men after the virtual complainants in their matters chose not to continue with the respective cases. Now, Chris Claremont and Jules Everton Matthew Weeks both flashed broad smiles when Magistrate Christy Coffey Sargent told them they were free to go. Claremont, a 33-year-old landscaper of Howells Crossroads, St. Michael, had been charged with unlawfully assaulting Marianne Gooding on November 24th, 2016. But when Gooding turned up for court yesterday, she told the magistrate she was not prepared to give evidence in the matter. Now, Weeks, 26, of Upper Golf Club Road, Rockley, Christchurch, was charged with unlawfully assaulting Turian Brathwaite on January 13th, 2015. However, Brathwaite too told Coffey Sargent that he was not going to offer any evidence, leaving the magistrate no other option but to dismiss it.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. The Bank of Nova Scotia is pulling out of Antigua and Barbuda and 8 other Caribbean countries. The bank has reached a deal to sell its operations in these territories. But Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown is accusing the bank's principals of taking the decision without first consulting the government, and he's hopping mad. Sharon Miller-Taswell of ABS News picks up the story.
Scotiabank says it plans to sell its banking operations in Guyana, St. Martin, and the Eastern Caribbean territories, including Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Scotiabank's first branch in Antigua opened in 1961, a second branch added in 1999. Scotiabank released this statement earlier today. Scotiabank is proud to work with the Republic Group, a leader in financial services in the Caribbean, who is well positioned to invest and grow the business. However, Prime Minister Gaston Brown was notified via telephone by the bank's country manager, Susan Sneggs Wilson. He responded to her, "On behalf of my government, I advise that I am deeply disappointed that the authorities of the Bank of Nova Scotia would decide to sell its operations in Antigua and Barbuda without any form of consultation with the regulators or the finance minister, whose agreement and authority for such a sale are required by law." Prime Minister Brown goes on to write, should the Bank of Nova Scotia wish to divest its operation in Antigua and Barbuda, it would be necessary to seek the government's approval. In this connection, my government would strongly comment that such divestment should be offered first to local banks as the priority.
And on the global front, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened on Tuesday to eliminate subsidies for General Motors Company in retaliation for the automaker cutting U.S. jobs and plants. More in this report from Reuters Television.
General Motors' decision to shut 5 plants in North America and cut 14,000 jobs, sparking fury among workers.
It's devastating what it will do to this community, not just GM.
The bad thing is to get this news on the day after we come back for Thanksgiving.
And the White House. The Trump administration making it clear Tuesday it feels blindsided and betrayed. Senior economic advisor Larry Kudlow.
Holiday season layoffs from GM, brutal, all right? Very disappointing.
And unhappy President Trump, who has made bringing jobs back to America the centerpiece of his presidency, warning GM on Twitter, quote, "The U.S. saved General Motors, and this is the thanks we get? We are now looking at cutting all GM subsidies, including for electric cars."
And that's news. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. And sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Now, you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.